Hi, my name is Alex and this is my GNX.
Hi, today I want to tell you about my new project. This is the Chain X. In this video, I will tell you how to print, how to assemble, and about 3 electronic setup. Setup with MP3 board, it is not very difficult to assemble, but has a limited feature. Setup based on ESP32. It is intended for experienced electrical engineers. The circuit is quite complex. There is a lot of soldering, but in the same time, it has additional features such as battery level control, volume level, additional audio track for more realistic sound, louder and higher quality sound, and setup with my own board. This is Alex Geek board. It is very easy to assemble. You don't need to solder anything. The wireframe already in the board. All components have connectors and you need just plug in into the board, into the sockets. All necessary components supplied in the kit. Also, this guide will be present in text form on my website, as well as a bill of material and project update. All links will be available in description below. And we will start with the printing settings. All parts are already oriented to start printing. Also, you don't need to make supports, because parts that require supports already have built-in supports. For most parts, I recommend minimum 2 walls and 10% infill. And for chain axe body, minimum 3 walls and 20% infill. I usually use grid infill. If you want maximum durability, don't print fast, because it reduces layer adhesion. Now let's talk about battery compartment. It's relevant for MP3 setup and ESP32 setup. Kit setup already include fully prepared part. There may also be different design option depending on batteries you have. If you already have charger for your batteries, so you don't need to add charging board in this scheme. Also, some 18650 have built-in BMS board, so you don't need to solder BMS in this case. And don't use 18650 without BMS. It can be dangerous. BMS board prevent battery from over discharging and short circuit.
To prepare a motor, you need to solder a wire about 30 cm to the motor. Red wire to the red dot. To prepare triggers, you need two wires 23 and 50 cm. If you want to make only one trigger, you need only one wire 50 cm. Solder the wires sequentially to the buttons. To prepare speakers, we need a wire about 20 cm and also a short wire for about 5 cm for the jumper. We need to connect the speakers in series, since the amplifier is designed for 8 ohms. The speakers that I use are designed for 4 ohms resistance. You can also find 8 ohms resistance of the same size and then connect them in parallel. Next, insert and fix the speakers in the case. Clean the handle parts from supports. Insert M4 nuts into the upper handle. Insert the first button into the upper handle by pressing on it. Try to press not on the button itself, but on its body. Use pliers or nippers for this. Tuck the wire into the channel. Apply glue to the next handle and insert it into the previous one. Insert the second button into the circuit after removing the support. Apply glue to the next part of the handle and glue it. Insert the lower trigger into the slot. Holding it in place with one hand, take the pipe and carefully insert the pipe into the handle. Check that the pipe enters smoothly and does not damage the wires, if they jump out of the channel. You can twist the pipe so that itself tuck the wires into the channel, if they jump out. Take the upper trigger and thread the wire into it, and install it in the upper slot. Take the remaining part of the handle, thread the wire into the channel and put it on the pipe, inserting it into the previous part, and tighten 4 screw M4x8. Next, we need to assemble the chain X body. Thread the wires through the hole and screw the motor with 4 and 3x5 screws. Screw the housing with the speakers with M4x20 screws. Insert 4 and 4 nuts into the slots for attaching the handle. Insert 4 and 5 nuts to attach the pipe. Push the wire from the trigger into the channel. Also, for the version with Alex Geek board and ESP32, push the display wires through the hole and install it in the place. Screw the handle with 4 and 4 by 20 screws. Insert the M3 nuts into the pipe brackets. Screw the brackets with M5 by 20 screws. Pull the wires from the battery compartment into the handle. Pull the switch out of the pipe. Install the switch in a special socket. Assemble the circuit with MP3 board. Insert the MP3 board in the holder and screw it in place. Set the switches on the MP3 board in the following order: first on, second off, third on. Set the board with transistors. This board is needed to control the motor. Since the buttons are not capable of passing a current of more than 50 mA, otherwise it will be simply burn out. Connect the wires as shown in the circuit. Actual circuit and in good quality is available on my website. Install the board holder on the bracket with M3 by 20 screws. I recommend marking the wires so as not to mix them up. Solder the wires from the motor, battery, trigger and speakers as indicated in diagram. Insert the batteries and check the functionality for further assembly. Now let's talk about ESP32 setup. This scheme is also present on my website. Insert all boards into the holder. Connect all contacts as indicated in the scheme except display, battery, speakers, motor and trigger. Solder wire to the speakers about 20 cm. Red to plus, black to minus. Prepare 4 wires 10 cm long and solder them to the display. Mark the wires so as not to mix them up. Install the board holder in place and push the wires through the window on the holder. Screw the holder with M3x20 screws. Solder the wires coming from the battery, motor, trigger, speakers and display. Download the firmware program from the official website. Unzip the archive. Run the program. Select ESP32S3 from the list. Look at the list of available ports. Connect ESP32 and another ports will appear in the list of available ports. Select it. Set the speed to the 900K. Click Start to make sure everything works. If you see a blue finish sign, that everything works normally. Then select the path of the first firmware file. Copy the folder name and paste the copied name in the window opposite the firmware file. Repeat the same for all 4 files. Next, check the boxes opposite all 4 selected files and press Start. The firmware takes about 2-3 minutes. After that, remove the wire and insert it again. This will reboot the board. If the firmware is successfully completed, you will see that the screen is working and everything is ready for use. And finally, the setup with my board. Insert the board into the holder. Install the volume control into the socket and bend the 3 contacts inwards, so that it holds well. Insert the volume control connector into the board. You will not be able to mix up the slots since each element has different connectors and they simply will not fit. Gently tug on the speaker's wires. Select the longer one and plug it into the far connector. Plug the remaining components into their connectors on the board. Insert the batteries and check that everything is working correctly before moving on the next step. Connect the two halves of the wheel together and screw them together with M3x60 screws. Insert M4 nuts into the slots. Tighten the M4x60 screws, but not all the way. The motor shaft should be fit freely. Gradually tighten the screw to clamp the shaft. Do not try to rotate the wheel with your hands, under any circumstances. The motor has a worm gear, you will simply break the gears inside. Rotate it by pressing the trigger by applying the power. Insert M4 nuts into all slots of the blade. Insert M4 nuts into all slots of the tensioner. Insert the bearing into the tensioner gear. Tighten the M4x20 screw to secure the gear. But do not tighten too much, the gear should rotate freely. Insert the tensioner into the blade. Tighten the spring with M4x8 screw. Then use an M4x16 screw to screw the second part of the spring to the blade. Tighten the tensioner and hold it in this position with one hand. With the other hand, insert the chain inside the blade along the guides so that two links appear outside. Release the tensioner, it will clamp the chain in the desired position. Tighten the screw but not all the way. Insert the chain into the second part of the blade along the guides. Tighten all the screws. Carefully tuck the chain into the guides, connect the chain links. To make it easier to do, swing and press on the front link. If the links are connected in a different place and not where shown in the video, do not try to pull the chain and turn the motor with your hands. You can damage the motor. It is better to disconnect some of the links and move them to the other end. Screw on the motor cover. Screw on the tip. And now your axe is ready to fight.
I hope this video was useful and you successfully assembled your axe. Let me remind you that all links are provided in the description below. Like, subscribe, and see you in the new project. Bye.